Hi, I'm Amanda from Integrative Healing with Amanda Butler. I provide energy work combined with psychological perspectives to facilitate a deeper connection with the divine within. And in this video today, we're going to be working with giving and receiving grace, really allowing that grace in to our lives, whether it's for ourselves, for others, for certain situations, just anywhere a deeper allowing in of that grace is needed. And so, you've probably heard people talk about giving grace to themselves, giving grace to a partner or a family member or a friend or, someone else. And so it can be interesting to reflect on what that really means. And recently I was listening to a series of lectures by a Jungian analyst. His name is Pittman McGeehee, and he was talking about this, and his take on it is something that I found it created a shift in my perspective. And so a lot of what I'm drawing on is from him. And these, talks that these lectures that he was doing, and I'll drop a link to that in the video description and in the comments for anyone who would like to check that out. I thought it was really lovely. It was on developing a healthy psychospiritual perspective, which is, a lot of what we're doing here as far as energy work and connecting more deeply with the divine within. And so a quote from him is that the archetype of grace means that there is available to the human being an opportunity to begin again at any time. And I take this to mean that, no matter what has happened in the past, we can start again, make a fresh start, kind of like I was talking about in a previous video. And that can extend to ourselves, to others. It can be difficult maybe in relationships, especially if things have been difficult, to maybe allow the other person that same fresh start, especially if we're talking about some kind of situation where you feel a really intense connection with someone, some kind of soul connection or twin flame kind of situation. It can be very hard to allow that grace and allow the other person to start over, so to speak, to have a fresh start with us when maybe things have felt really bad for a long time. And so another thing Mr. McGeehee said in this lecture that I was listening to was that grace is undeserved favor, and grace doesn't make sense to the ego. It seems, it makes bad economic sense. It's like, well, if this person has done this and this and this for all of this time, why should I give them any grace? Why should I allow them to start over? But grace is an operative resource for good mental health. It's undeserved favor. And it's just a gift with no strings attached. It's a way of healing us of shame by allowing us to start over. It's a resource that says you can let go, you've been forgiven of that. And, oftentimes it's ourselves or those closest to us where it's harder to let in that forgiveness, let in that grace. And so I really liked this idea. I hope it is helpful for you as well. And so in this video, allowing us to give and receive grace, allowing that experience of letting go of something that is keeping us from being whole, which we are always whole. It's, an illusion that we're not, that we're broken, that something needs to fix us. And through grace, we can let go of those things that keep the illusion in place that we're not whole. And grace offers an opportunity to transcend, previous thoughts and attitudes. It's a gift from within, given by the divine self within. It often can be constellated through ritual and symbol, like if there is a certain, symbol or mental image that comes to mind that can help anchor in that feeling of grace, that can be really helpful and a really beautiful experience. And it can really enhance our own lives by letting go of, things that we're ashamed of, that we don't need to be ashamed of, because we're human, we're having these experiences as part of our journey. And so we can let go. We can learn from these things that have happened and move on. Okay, so I think that's all I really wanted to say about that. So let's get started with the clearing and see what Spirit has for us today as far as giving and receiving grace and really fully allowing it into our lives. Okay, let's make sure that we are prepped to work. And prep to work is asking permission of your soul to do the clearing, connecting with Source to do the clearing, to clear anything that needs to be cleared. It's like my higher self and your higher self working together to clear, release anything that needs to be cleared. Okay, so starting with integrating divine union, IDU. This is a modality created by Alexandra Dobages of Spiritual Healing Therapy. She has a YouTube channel as well, and you can check out her videos. They're great. And if you want to learn this modality for yourself, you can find out more on her website, spiritualhealingtherapy.com. Okay, so starting with chart 1B, consciousness adjustments, conscious meld fusion, bringing in more of that connection with the consciousness of the divine within us to allow in more of that grace. Okay. And chart 4, clear and align. Clearing any planet energy that needs to be cleared. Being incarnated on this planet can be a difficult experience. A lot of contrast, a lot of challenge. So clearing this planet energy or any planet energy that needs to be cleared. Okay. Seeing where we go next. Going to chart 7 for ego healing and clearing for alignment. Bringing the ego into alignment with the divine self within. Maybe even creating a conversation between the ego and that divine self to kind of re-educate the ego a little bit, to be more kind of accepting of this idea of grace, more allowing of it. Okay. And chart 8. Clearing around giving. So sometimes it can be hard to give grace. We can be very hard on ourselves and on others who are close to us, who maybe can even feel like an extension of ourselves in some kind of way. So clearing around that giving. And going to chart 9C, divine timing. Clearing around flexibility. Flexibility in our thoughts and our emotions. Sometimes we can kind of get locked in a certain kind of mindset that can be really stuck, really rigid. So clearing for flexibility. Thoughts, emotions, and the way we see things, our perspective. More flexibility, more openness. Okay. All right, and chart 11. Clearing any stagnation, kind of like with what I was saying before, anything that feels stuck, inflexible, rigid. So clearing anything and everything that is stagnant, energies of stagnation or feeling stuck, any of that kind of stuff. Okay. Where do we go next? Clearing on chart 15, trust. Clearing any glitches. Any kind of glitches in our experience where, it's hard to let that in, or maybe we try to let that in, but it does not compute in some kind of way. So clearing glitches. Okay. Clearing on chart 17, any judgments. And clearing around, removing old patterns and beliefs. Like Mr. McGeehee was saying in the lecture, like letting go of things that are keeping you from being whole. Transcending previous thoughts and attitudes. So removing those old patterns, old beliefs, old attitudes. Old thoughts, anything that is creating the illusion that we are not whole. Okay. Clearing on chart 19, any attachments. Anything that's maladaptive, that doesn't serve us anymore, that again creates that illusion that we're not whole, that there's something wrong with us or other people. Letting go of that. Okay, clearing attachment. Clearing on chart 21. Clearing the creator archetype. Connecting with that creator archetype within us and utilizing that to create a reality where grace is welcomed in and allowed in. We can give and receive that with others and ourselves. Okay. Clearing on chart 22, maturity cradle. And it does feel like a more mature worldview to be able to bring in that grace, that forgiveness, that letting go rather than hanging on. It kind of feels like a more mature sort of thing to do, to be able to do that, to let certain things go and to start over and move on from things that are stopping us from feeling whole. Like, okay, things were how they were in the past, and I can move on from that. I can let it go. I can start over. Okay. And moving on to chart 25. Clearing any masculine aspects that need to be cleared. Okay, going on to chart 30, soul's integration. And clearing around this being workable, like it being workable and manageable, to give and receive grace, allow it in, like we can do this. It's workable, it's manageable. It can happen with ease and grace. Bringing in the energies of workable, clearing around this being workable. Okay. Okay, chart 31, God and Spirit, or Spirit. Expansion, clearing around expansion, feeling more of an expanded capacity for that connection with God, Spirit, the divine within, and the grace that is inherent with that. Because when we are in connection with that, with God, Spirit, the divine within, whatever word you want to use, then there is that more of a feeling of that wholeness, and it is easier to let go of things that feel like they're stopping us from being whole. Okay, about 99% done with this modality. Let's see what else we can clear here. Going to do chart 33. Core energy and clearing power. Like the power that comes from feeling in connection with that divine core within us, the core of who we are as divine beings. Okay, from 0 to 100, how much of the clearing with this modality has been done? 100%. Okay, so that's a wrap for IDU. Completing a mop-up of this modality, seeing where we go next. Okay, and from 0 to 100, out of anything and everything that can be cleared today, how much have we cleared? So about 80%. Let's see where we go next to get to 100. And we're going to GCT. Okay, and this is another modality created by Alexandra of spiritual healing therapy. It is also available on her website, I believe, if you would like to learn this. So let's see where we start. Chart 2, galactic separation. And this is all about being ready for more, activations to be ready for more. So more grace and clearing the original logos. Anywhere we've gotten separated from that original logos, that original kind of truth and logic of who we are as a divine being, having a human experience. So connecting that, bringing that in. Okay. And going to chart 5, quantum leap. Clearing around path recognition. Okay. Going to chart 7, galactic divine masculine transmutation. Download specifics. Okay. Going to chart 10 to clear any planetary influences. Comets. Chart 12. Dwarf planets. Black moon, Lilith. Chart 14A, constellations. Chart 21D, Earth Song Harmony. Ascended Masters. Chart 23C. Clearing any contracts. Chart 28, clearing any energy enmeshments. And chart 32, our final chart in this modality. Clearing to release any loss of self, feelings of disconnection with self. Self in this case meaning like the higher self, the divine self in us. Clearing some self, and from 0 to 100, how much have we cleared? This modality, 100%. Okay, so that's a wrap for GCT, completing a mop-up of this and seeing if there's anything else that we can clear today. From 0 to 100, out of anything and everything that can be cleared today, how much have we cleared? 100%. 0 to 100, how much do my higher self and your higher self agree that everything has been cleared? 100%. 0 to 100, how much does the soul feel free from this clearing? From 0 to 100, how much does the soul feel completed from this clearing? Anything else to say? Anything else to do? Anything else to clear? Okay, that's a wrap. So completing a mop-up of this clearing. And so I want to thank you for joining me today. And along with this idea of giving and receiving grace to ourselves and others is an idea that I read about a while back, supposedly, but I'm not sure, from the Mayan belief system of in Lakesh. And it's like the idea that what I do to you comes back to me. Like I cannot exist without you, you cannot exist without me because we're all one. And so any grace that we give to others also comes back to us. And any being able to extend grace to ourselves also helps us to be able to extend grace to others. And so I'll post an article with some more information about that idea in the comments or the video description as well. Basically, what it's saying is, I don't exist without you and you don't exist without me. Therefore, you and I exist from relating. We exist from us. That is why any action of one affects the other, and that is why it is said that you are my other self. If I respect you, I'm respecting myself, and if I attack you, I'm attacking myself. And so extending that grace to ourselves and to those around us helps create a more peaceful way of being in the world when we're relating from that wholeness. And so I just want to leave you with that. If you would like a deeper clearing on the topic of grace or regarding anything else that you would maybe like some additional help with, you can reach me on my website, amandabutler.net, and book a clearing there. As always, with any energy work, be sure to drink some extra water, maybe more than you would usually drink, to flush out anything that needs to be flushed out. And maybe just be on the lookout for any shifts that you notice, anything, any changes in your perspective. And thank you for joining me for this clearing today. I hope that it is a blessing in your life. And if you do mention this video when booking a clearing with me, you'll receive 10% off whatever service you book. And if you felt this video was helpful, please give me a like and subscribe. And I love reading comments, and I make sure to respond to them. So if there's anything you want to say about, this video, I would love to hear from you in the comments section, and I wish you all the best. Namaste.